Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on a Saturday night edition of NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 as we are Busch Series racing at the Texas Motor Speedway for the running of the O'Reilly 300 on the next race of this custom scheduled Busch Series season. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, live commentary for the video game side of races during the week, and then the real NASCAR races on the race weekend. This weekend I'll be doing live commentary tomorrow afternoon for the Throwback Darlington race for the NASCAR Cup Series. That coverage begins at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live on KRC. And the race itself is on Fox Sports 1 if you wanted to watch the race while listening to my commentary on the side as well. As far as tonight's live realistic commentary, we have 300 miles and 200 laps set on tap for the Texas Motor Speedway today. 6 races to go on the season, and our driver Greg Biffle currently has a 240-point lead over Ron Hornaday Jr. coming into this race. Hornaday was able to outscore Greg Biffle in the points department and position-wise at Talladega last night. 7th place finish for Ron Hornaday. Greg Biffle barely clung on to a top 10, finishing in 10th place. Hornaday did not lead any laps, so no bonus points for him, where Biffle was at least able to lead 8 laps from the pole yesterday, enough to get him 5 bonus points. So in all, Hornaday was only able to close the gap by 7 points over Greg Biffle. If he can keep that kind of pace up, even if Hornaday keeps beating Biffle, but only by a few positions like last night at Talladega, it is going to be Greg Biffle's championship to lose. So let's get this race underway. Ashton Lewis is on the pole for tonight's race. Not sure where Ron Hornaday qualified. Greg Biffle qualified in 3rd. And the green flag is about to wave as Ashton Lewis will lead the field to the green at Texas. And we are racing on a Saturday night. Cars on boy, Wade Zielinski, welcome to the stream. Biffle trying to get the launch into turn 1, was looking to go 3 wide to the bottom. That did not work out for him. And Ashton Lewis is going to be cleared off turn 2, it looks like. Ray Westbury going down to block Biffle in the backstretch into turn number 3. Biffle goes up the track a little bit, barely stays in front of the 106. And it looks like Biffle's right back up to 3rd where he started after lap 1, as Ashton Lewis will lead the opening lap of today's race. Stephen McPeak, welcome to the stream as well. Ray Westbury looking for the lead on Ashton Lewis off turn 4, and Westbury will lead lap 2 as he is going to be able to clear Lewis at the line, but Biffle underneath Westbury now by a half a car length as they work their way into turn 1. Looks like we're about to have 3 different leaders in the first 3 laps of the race, as Greg Biffle will have the lead off turn 2 for the first time today and looking for 5 bonus points, as Westbury nearly gets into the wall, going a bit wide after having to take the outside lane on entry into turn 3. Lewis will take 2nd place back. And Westbury, after leading 1 lap, quickly falls back to 3rd the following lap by. And again, Biffle will lead at the line this time. So 3 different leaders in the first 3 laps of today's race. All from the top 3 in qualifying. Car's feeling good right now. Just a few laps in, of course. We'll see as the long run goes if that will keep up. This is NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. EA Sports is the publisher on this game. And 6 races to go on the season. Coming into this race. It looks like Ashton Lewis is going to challenge back on Biffle for the lead in turns 3 and 4. Biffle trying to hold the outside lane at Texas. Gets a bit loose. Almost clips the 46 car. It was all over the right rear quarter panel of Lewis. Luckily, he fell in line behind him. Looking for the crossover into turn 1. Lewis could not close it down on the inside lane. And Biffle is looking for the lead back. Great battle for the lead at Texas between Greg Biffle and Ashton Lewis. Patrick Shatterley, welcome to the stream. Greetings from employee that my job can't function without. That's great. Welcome to the stream. Maybe not great for you, but it's a great statement. Funny statement. Wow. I'm not sure why Cars One Boy keeps deleting the messages from Stephen McPeak. Asking if you... I don't know if that necessarily calls for getting timed out necessarily. If he just asked it once, I mean, it's just a simple question. Wow, Biffle got really loose off turn 2 that time. I think the car might be a little too unstable on the exit of the corners, and that's why he's not really able to pull away, as he can't get the drive off that he wants to with the rear tires sliding up from underneath him. Like Ashton Lewis just grazed the wall off turn 4 that last time by. This definitely is a deceiving racetrack. It looks as if it is a lot wider than what it actually is. Very tight off the exit of the corners, and it's a very high speed racetrack as well, even for these Busch Series cars. Lewis looking to the inside of Biffle through turns 3 and 4. Lewis nearly gets into the side of the Biff. Biffle stuck on the outside. Slides up the track a little bit more as he's still stuck on the outside. Paul Menard in the 33 car got to get underneath him. Biffle trying to pinch Menard off into turn 3, not going to work. And that's the fall in line in third. Paul Menard's had some great runs in the second half of the season in the Busch Series. Not so much on the Cup Series side where he's a rookie. I would assume that if Trevor Bayne ends up having to fill in for Kyle Busch any of the next couple weeks, with him being the fill-in driver for Busch, as long as Kyle Busch starts the race, he should get credited points for points in real NASCAR, so I'd assume he would get credited points in fantasy as well, wherever Trevor Bayne would finish that day or run in the stages, if that driver swap happens. But if it's before the race starts, then you'd have to have Trevor Bayne in your lineup, not Kyle Busch, because Busch wouldn't get received any points. I would imagine Busch is going to start regardless of the fact, so he can get points. I get that. I mean, it's not like you had to answer him. I didn't see if he was asking it repeatedly or not. I mean, who knows? He could be like 6 years old. You don't know how old he is. Be a little strange if he was like 50. Kyle Busch looking pretty sporty this week from what I saw in qualifying today. I was able to watch that final session at work. I didn't see practice at all, but I heard Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott have to go to backup cars. Both had left rear tires go down. Paul Menard's up to second place, getting around Ashton Lewis that last lap. And it looks like Dale Earnhardt Jr. is up to fourth and may lose fourth place as he slid a little bit wide off turn 2, but it looks like he makes the block on the back straightaway to hold on to his position. Jr. won last night's race at Talladega to get his second win of the Busch Series season. Third win total between the Busch and Cup Series combined. Trying to go for back-to-back wins and back-to-back races today. Junior's up to third as he gets around Lewis through 3 and 4. Paul Menard still keeping pretty close pressure on the back of Biffle right now. Biffle just has to have some solid races going forward. 10th place run at Talladega yesterday. He lost points to Ron Hornaday, but he still got a decent sized points lead because he was able to at least get a top 10, and he did get some laps led. Already led some laps early on in this race, and he's obviously currently leading laps as he is in the lead. Top 10 finishes from here on out for Greg Biffle is definitely going to help him win the championship. It's all about consistency. Michael Weeks, welcome to the stream. Mark DeMars, welcome as well. Lap 20 at the Texas Motor Speedway in the early going of today's race. Opening fuel run and still caution-free so far. We only had one yellow last night at Talladega. It was on lap 27 of 117. Doubleheader on the channel tomorrow. We will have another NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 Busch race, as well as the live commentary for the NASCAR Cup Series at the Darlington Raceway for the Goodyear 400 throwback race for the Cup Series at Darlington. So doubleheader on the channel tomorrow. Our NASCAR 05 stream will be first at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time following that is when the live stream will start, as we'll get our pre-race coverage going for the Darlington Cup race. So back-to-back live streams on the channel tomorrow, another doubleheader for your Mother's Day Sunday afternoon. One car blowing up on the back straightaway, and it's Bobby Hamilton Jr., so one of the top 5 drivers of the point standings has just blown an engine, and that's going to hurt late in the season. Wasn't really in championship contention anymore, but he's looking for a top 5 points paying finish, and that is not going to help Hamilton out tonight. So Hamilton has dropped an engine. We'll see if he can get back out there later in the race down a cylinder. My favorite MLB team is the Detroit Tigers. Texas Motor Speedway, not too far from where you're from. Are you going to be there for the All-Star race in a couple weeks then? Out of curiosity? That being your home track? Dale Jr. hasn't been able to get around Paul Menard in the 33 car yet. Jr. actually got really tight in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Menard got a really good run on Biffle. Nothing doing as Biffle continues to hit his marks. The longer into this run, it looks like it's getting harder and harder to pass. The cars are spaced out a little bit more. So a lot of battling for the lead going on those first 6 to 7 laps of the race. A few lead changes. Ethan, welcome to the stream. Dale Jr. going to take over second place, getting around Paul Menard. And clears him off turn 4 with a little slide job. So Jr. trying to go for back-to-back wins in the Busch Series. Finished 4th or better in 2 of the last 3 races. And he is closing on Greg Biffle. Definitely watching it. Being there is questionable. Yeah, it kind of stinks it's a Sunday night. I feel like that would probably, you would think, hurt the attendance on a non-holiday weekend. Versus if it was a Sunday afternoon. Or a Saturday night like all-star races usually are. Junior challenges into turn 3. And he's going to go up the track a little bit again. It seems like he's struggling with the corner entry in turn 3. Got up in the marbles off the exit of the corner, barely kept it off the wall. And Menard may have a shot to get back underneath him again in turns 1 and 2, but Junior hooks the bottom a lot better that time around. One car out of the race right now. Again, it was Bobby Hamilton Jr. who blew an engine. Not sure where Ron Hornaday's at or where he qualified. 30 air is definitely costing those cars in traffic right behind Greg Biffle, because Menard seemed to get tight in line behind Dale Jr. in turns 3 and 4 that time as well. And Jr. trying a little wider arc into turns 1 and 2. Something a little bit different. Got it to stick really well. Pretty good corner so far. Biffle chops off turn 3. Lifted quite a bit going into the corner. Still trying to keep Dale Earnhardt Jr. behind him. A little bit of mirror drive in that last half a lap. He holds on to the race lead, and Jr. trying the outside through 1 and 2. It looked like he got tight. I think he intentionally went up there that time. That's going to try to build momentum down the backstretch and potentially make another move into turn 3. Not going to work there either. Biffle's definitely logging in quite a few laps led in the early going of this race. Could potentially help him get 10 bonus points. So I did purchase NASCAR 06 earlier this morning when I was on my first break at work. So it is on the way, and it should get here by Monday according to Amazon. So the good news is that if I do end up finishing the 05 season next week, that we could start NASCAR 06 immediately. Just going to depend on when we clinch the Busch and Cup Series championship. So we still have 5 Busch races yet to go after this one tonight, and then 4 more on the Cup side. But pacing to clinch a championship, potentially 2 races early in the Cup Series, and as of right now, 1 race early in the Busch Series. Things keep going the way they're going right now. Right front tire already starting to wear out on the 60th Biffle a little bit. Not quite halfway on fuel yet either. Should be a 3-stop race today, I would have to assume. We'll see if these drivers can make it in 2. Menard back to the inside of Dale Jr. for second. And he doesn't quite have him clear yet. Menard should have the advantage on the bottom lane, though, into turn 3. Derek Booth, welcome to the stream also. 10 people watching in the early going of this race tonight. 8 likes already on the stream on just lap 33. Caution free at the Texas Motor Speedway in the O'Reilly 300. For some Busch Series action on NASCAR 05 for the Custom Sketches season live on KRC tonight. And if you're just tuning in, doubleheader tomorrow afternoon starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we'll have another NASCAR 05 Busch Series race. Our next race will be at the Richmond Raceway. 250 lapper there around the 3/4 mile short track. And then immediately following the finish of that one at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll have our live race commentary for the Darlington Cup race, the Goodyear 400 throwback race tomorrow afternoon as well. So back-to-back live streams for a Sunday afternoon on the channel. Mild concussion, hopefully all is well, and hopefully it doesn't hurt your head too much to watch this. I don't know how that may interfere with, being on your phone or watching a moving screen of some sort. I guess mild's better than severe. Try to look at the bright side of things. Can't wait for NASCAR 06. Yeah, a couple new elements coming into there. I think I should have the in-car camera, so that's nice. That's one thing I don't like about NASCAR 05 is that there's no in-car camera, so when we alternate through the different cameras throughout the course of the race, we have a little bit more to work with. Plus, the DNFs will still be on, but if we do DNF, we can actually finish the race as a teammate if we need to. So we will see the finish at some point in time. We can do some field passes throughout the course of the race, see where all the teammates are running as well. So a couple cool elements with that. And of course, you guys get the fan vote for which driver I will use in all three series. And potentially the modified series if I decide to run that as well. So definitely get to cast your votes. One thing I wanted to ask you guys tonight, though, of those that are in the chat right now, how do we want to do the fan vote this time? Because we can either do it on that live stream night of the actual race before for the first race of the season. So for the Cup Series, it would be the Busch Shootout at Daytona, and then the Busch and Truck Series would be the season opener points race at Daytona. We could do the votes for each specific series then, or I could have various polls over the next few days leading up to NASCAR 06 on the channel, and you guys can vote in the community tab. So whatever works more efficiently for you guys, if you're maybe not able to make the start of the stream, whenever that comes to be, especially because we don't know exactly what day it is yet, considering that I could clinch the championship early in both series on NASCAR 05. So the way the polls would work, I would just basically go by team or by manufacturer in the polls. You guys vote, highest voted moves to the next round until we end up crowning a winner. The only two drivers I cannot race as in the Cup Series would be Terry Labonte and Jimmy Johnson. You guys have already fan voted me for me to run as both of those drivers. And NASCAR Thunder 04 and now NASCAR Chase for the Cup 05. Busch Series, I can't race as Kevin Harvick. And then the Truck Series, I can't race as Bobby Hamilton Sr. or Carl Edwards. I don't think Edwards is in the Truck Series anyway. Busch, Biffle's not in the Busch Series. I don't believe in that game either. Community tab would be easier. Yeah, it's kind of what we did for NASCAR 21 Ignition with the career mode. Ooh, Dale Jr. bit wide off turn 2. He gets into the wall, and Paul Menard's going to take back second place into turn 3. Yeah, there's going to be quite a few polls, so you'll definitely want that notification bell on, and you have to set it specifically for videos and posts, so that way you guys won't miss any of the voting in the community tab. But again, let me know down in the chat for those of you. It's our pre-vote vote, I guess. Vote Edwards on NASCAR 06. Yeah, Carl Edwards is a rookie in that game. Try to win a title with rookie Carl Edwards. Remember, though, that, for instance, rookie Carl Edwards, his overall is not going to be as great, and there are grading scales for whoever I may be, so the worse the driver is in any of the series, less of a chance I'm going to have of competing for wins, and might make it a little harder, which could make the championship more compelling, too, depending on what series it is. Because the first season, we're just going to run the actual 2005 schedule, because I'm not going to have any of the fantasy tracks or anything like that unlocked for custom schedule season. So for the Cup Series, the Chase will be on for that first season, and the top 10 will qualify for the Chase/playoffs. Based off of regular season points alone, wins do not guarantee you a spot in the Chase. Strictly the top 10 at the end of the first 26 races, since he never won a championship. Edwards did not win a championship. Mark Martin did not either. And that would be the last chance for me to run as Martin in the 6 car as well. But there still will be more chances for Martin as well as Edwards. There's a lot of NASCAR Hall of Famers I haven't used yet. Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, Dale Jr., Tony Stewart. Yeah, Kyle Busch is going to be a rookie in the Cup Series as well. Dale Jr. looking for his first lead in the race. Off turn 4, crowds Biffle. A little side drafting going on. And Jr. has completed the pass to lead his first lap of the race that time by. Biffle trying to cross over into turn 1. Not going to be able to do it. All 4 tires in the yellow right now for Biffle. Wood Brothers in 06, so it'd be the 05 season. Not Ricky Rudd anymore. I can't remember who was driving the 21 in 05. It wasn't Glenn Wood, was it? Maybe it was Glenn Wood. Or not Glenn Wood, John Wood. Glenn Wood wasn't in the car. I meant John Wood. Junior got up into the wall in turn 2, and that allowed for Biffle to clear him. Junior's gotten into the wall off turn 2 a few times already, and Menard's going to get the second as we hit lap 50, still caution-free at Texas. 3-car battle for the lead going on right now. Biffle getting loose. Crowd goes wild, yep, even in the Busch Series. Especially at Texas, there's a lot of grandstands at this racetrack. The packed EA Sports crowd on hand. Oh, it's still Ricky Rudd? I was thinking it wasn't for some reason. Well, I guess that answers the question, Patrick. I was looking up a little bit of the driver lineup earlier. I didn't get all the way through it. Dad says Kentry. Yeah, he's going to be... wasn't that the Schwann's 49 car? I actually like that paint scheme, too. But yeah, he's in the game. A couple new drivers that weren't in NASCAR 05 that are going to be in that driver lineup for all 3 series, really. What team was he driving for? It was a 49 car, but I can't remember what team that was. I can guarantee you his overall is not going to be that great. My chances of winning are going to be slim to none. But I'll do my best. Especially on Legend difficulty. But it's already hard enough as it is. Running for Roush in these seasons on NASCAR 05. Oni, welcome to the stream. Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the inside of Greg Biffle again. Oh, he just stuffed him in the wall. Junior's around, and he took out the points leader with him. Oh, man. Big hit for Dale Jr. into the outside wall. Our first caution of the race. And Biffle got a big piece of it. And our first caution is stricken just past lap 50. Junior tried to clear Greg Biffle for the lead off turn 4 and piled both cars into the outside wall, battling for the lead. So some damage to be repaired right now in the 60 car. Everybody's going to pit. Biffle cannot pit for fuel or tires being involved in the accident. 3.4 seconds of damage. Well, that's going to be interesting. Again, Biffle comes in with a 240-point lead over Ron Hornaday. Sure, Mark is in the... He did sign an extension, that's right. Oh my gosh, that scared the heck out of me. What was that? JJ Yaley just killed us on pit road. Yaley just morphed right through our car. And the crunchy noise. Oh my gosh. I was looking down and I was like, what was that? And he just went right through us. I've never seen that before. That's a first with this game. Biffle on older tires. Billy Parker won the race off pit road of those who took tires. And there goes Yaley, who had a fast pit stop himself to get to the lead. Biffle just trying to hang on for dear life right now. On the restart as Yaley leads for the first time in the race. Johnny Sauter down on the bottom of the track. 3 wide is not going to work in Texas off turn 4. Parker makes a bit of contact with Biffle. Parker's in the wall now. Junior back up to 3rd. Quarter tank of gas left for Biffle. Biffle's going to need a caution that he is not involved in so he can pit and not have to pit under green flag conditions. That wreck with Dale Jr. definitely put him off schedule, not only with the pit strategy, but it's going to be tough just to try and find a way to get back into this race, knowing we only have 140 laps to go, with it being a Busch race, not as long. Cup races at Texas 500 miles, this Busch race only 300. Because Junior just slid up into Biffle off turn 4. He'd been struggling with a tight car on the exit of the corners. More of it was off turn 2, but obviously he struggled off turn 4 when he was underneath the 60 car and had no room for error and took the 60 with him. Yaley about to lose the lead in turns 1 and 2 as he's stuck on the outside. And Johnny Sauter's looking for the lead off turn 2 with Junior right behind him, still side by side, down the back into turn 3. Sauter, one of the Cup Series regulars, is a rookie in the Cup Series. Dale Jr. to 2nd, trying to come back after bringing out the accident while leading. Lost the lead because of it, but looking for it back on Johnny Sauter in the 27 car. I've gotten so used to the driver lineup on this game too, especially in the Busch and the Truck Series. It's going to be the hardest to try and figure out the names on the fly. Dale Jr. back to the lead and Yaley to 2nd. This guy's battling for the leads, allowing Biffle on the older tires to close the gap a bit. It's all over the back of Johnny Sauter off turn 2. I don't know if he's going to be able to make a pass, though, unless they get alongside one another again. Biffle's really, really tight as he's closer in line behind the 27. He's loose on the exit of the corners, tight on entry. Boy, he needs a caution, though, so he can pit under yellow. And who knows, maybe the rest of the field pits with him, though. At this time, at Texas Motor Speedway in 2004, not a lot of wear on this racetrack. So if we do get a yellow, considering most of the field just pit a little bit ago, I'd still think Biffle's going to go to the back, but at least he can stay on the lead lap, because he's obviously going to go lap down pretty soon. Right front tire very worn out now in the red. I'm sure that hit into the wall with Dale Jr. did not help it either. Hooks the white line through 1 and 2. I think Billy Parker has remained in 5th. That actually might be Kenny Wallace in the 23 car behind Biffle in the 5th place position. Dale Jr. got both his first career Busch Series win as well as his first career Cup Series win at the Texas Motor Speedway, trying to get another win at this racetrack today. Some smoke off turn 2, like there was almost an accident that last lap, but didn't quite happen. Contact between Biffle and Sauter. That sent Biffle wide into turn 3. Sauter lost some ground on the top 2 in front of him as well. Caution saved about 3 laps of fuel. If we could somehow make it about another 3 more laps, maybe there's a potential he can make it on 2 stops. And that could keep him in the race. He's still going to have to pit so far off sequence, though. And if he doesn't get a caution before he pits, he's going to have to wait for the rest of the field to cycle back through pit stops. He's going to have to try to gain as much time as he can when he takes fresher tires. Not really losing much on older tires. Definitely did not take off well on the restart initially. He's remained in 4th. He's got speed to stay with these guys, but he just cannot figure out a way to get around Johnny Sauter. 8th of a tank of fuel up for Biffle. He's definitely going to go a little bit further. 5th place closing in on Sauter and Biffle. Biffle in the wall off turn 2, trying to make a block on Kenny Wallace. Now he's sideways into 3. Wallace to the outside. They go up the track with a contact made on the bottom. Great job by Kenny Wallace keeping it off the wall. Biffle was sideways getting into 3, and he was hoping Wallace was going to clear him before he slid back up the track. Good thing they didn't wreck again. Biffle needs a caution, but he doesn't need to be involved in it. Really tight off turn 2 again. Hermie Sadler's going to get by. There goes Hornaday to 6th. Biffle back to 7th. He's gone from super loose to super tight in a hurry. I think every hit he takes into that wall is just not helping him. Biffle wiggles. Overdrove turn 1. With that white line on corner entry, Hornaday's going to gap Biffle a little bit more. Mike Bliss almost got underneath the 60 car off the exit of turn 4, not quite. Kyle Busch in the back half of the top 10 looking to gain some positions as well. It's almost like the car is flipped where it's loose on corner entry and tight off exit, where it was tight on entry and loose off exit for the longest time. Another hit into the wall. Bliss to the outside. Biffle overdrives turn 3. Kyle Busch going to get down on the bottom. Harvick nearly took him 3 wide. Thought better of it. Smart move by Harvick. Biffle got to clear the 20. Bliss is in the wall. Harvick gets by on the bottom as Biffle had to lift, and I think Bliss got in the wall lifting to stay off of Biffle. Biffle will pit at lap 75. Just desperately hoping for a caution. Again, he wouldn't be able to be involved in it if we do get a yellow. And it does not look like we are going to get the caution Biffle wants and needs right now. So he's going to have to make an unscheduled, well, it's a scheduled pit stop because he hasn't pit yet. But it's definitely off sequence and he's going to lose his lap. There's no free pass if we do get a caution. No free pass in the Busch Series. Biffle going to pit off turn 4, locking the tires up to try and make sure he did not speed, and he did not. Going to loosen the car up just a little bit, taking a half round of wedge out of the race car. 4 tires and fuel for Biffle. It's going to be interesting making that wedge adjustment. It's going to help him on the long run. In the short run, it might be a little too loose because he was already loose off exit of the corner. And now he's going to probably cycle back in pretty heavy traffic, if I had to imagine. Which is not going to help the handle into the car either. It's a 4-tire stop. Biffle on pit road. Things are not looking good for him. Just shy of the halfway mark at the Texas Motor Speedway tonight. And could this be an opportunity for Ron Hornaday to gain in points for the second straight race? The only car Biffle's ahead of right now is Bobby Hamilton Jr., who blew an engine early on in this race, well before the first caution. Biffle cycled back into traffic, just got into the 112 car a bit into turn 3. Now Biffle's going to need it to stay green as Dale Jr. continues to lead. He's got 4 tires and he's hoping the wedge adjustment is going to help this car. Gonna have to try to keep it steady. I know Dale Jr. is a Cup regular, but you hate to see a driver not really racing the full season and running for a championship get caught up in the middle of an accident. Pretty much caused the accident that costed the driver who's leading the points, Greg Biffle. Even though Biffle's got a big points cushion, will be the points leader regardless of the fact leaving today's race. He does not want to make it a tight battle. The race is still remaining. The good news is he doesn't have any more super speedways left this year. Doesn't want to have a ginormous points lead collapse in the final 6 races either. Especially with still 5 races to go. Plenty of time for Hornaday. And we know he's in the top 10 right now as well. Theoretically, he can cut that lead under 100 points where Biffle's running at right now. We're trying to make up time on fresh tires. Still 119 laps to go in this race. This one's going by pretty quickly, though. Considering the fact that we have had 1 yellow. But outside of that, it's been a fast race pace. Biffle should be able to make it a 1 more pit stop in this one. If the rest of the field has to pit twice like I'm thinking, I think that's going to be alright for Biffle. He was still back in 9th place, though, when he pitted, so he's going to have to gain track position, which he should be able to do on fresh tires right now. While everybody else is on older tires, he just really needs us to either play green to the end, or if we do get a caution, have it come out after the rest of the field cycles through. I can tell Biffle's car is wiggling around quite a bit more in the middle of the corner. Harder to hold it steady. Taking that half round of wedge out of the car. Just as fast if he can hang on to it, but it's almost a little too edgy. Again, it was loose on the exit of the corner to begin with. The first half of the run. Really the first 2/3 to 3/4 of the run. Before it started to get tight off the exit of the corner on really, really old tires. Knowing there's 1 more pit stop, if he does have to move it back, you can. Biffle definitely can't be held up repeatedly by these lap cars. He's going to want to try to pick up as much time as possible. Oh, we got trouble on the front stretch. Car just got into the wall in the middle of the front stretch up ahead and stacked a whole bunch of cars up there going wide into turn 1. Somebody's blown an engine in the middle of it, and it's Johnny Sauter. And look at how stacked up everybody is now on the backstretch. 3 wide where Biffle's at. I think, I'm going to guess Sauter blew an engine in the middle of the front stretch. Cars tried to miss him, and there was some contact, and somebody got into the wall. We do stay green. That would have been a terrible timing caution for Biffle if we did see a yellow. They're stacking up some more. Nearly wrecking into turn 1, and it's Hornaday in the 2 car now having issues. He's in the wall in turn 1. So the top 2 in the point standings having problems today. Hornaday's lost a ton of positions. He's well outside the top 10 now, and that's going to help Biffle a little bit. Biffle gained a lot of track position, missing everything to the apron going into turn 1. I think it widened out down there. Sauter makes it to pit road. We continue to stay green. Hopefully we don't get a caution and trap Biffle a lap down. If it is going to happen, hopefully Hornaday's involved. For Biffle's sake. Nearly involved in an accident there. It was 2 laps in a row on the front stretch where we nearly had an accident. Yeah, but Johnny Sauter will be in position. It's 3 more points for Biffle as they run. I was wondering how he was going to get through a lot of that heavy traffic, and he probably passed over a dozen cars. And it's gotten thinned out where he's at right now. It's like Dale Jr. is just growing his lead bigger and bigger and bigger at the front of the field. I don't really know that this setup is helping or hurting Biffle. Trying to look at the lap times, it doesn't help he's in traffic and constantly passing slower cars. Hold him up when he gets to him. About a 1/10 of a second off right now, lap time wise, compared to his fastest lap of the race when he had the clean air early on. Fedewa, Matt Kenseth, Mike Bliss, next 3 cars ahead of Biffle. Biffle to the inside of Fedewa off turn 4. Fedewa going to give Biffle plenty of room. The bottom of the racetrack. 91 laps complete. Sauter led laps at one point in this race and had a pretty fast race car, so it kind of stinks to see him out of this one. One of the Cup Series regulars go down. He's likely going to be a contender in this one, the way things were looking early. Make Dale Jr.'s job even easier than what it already is during this current green flag run. Jr. coming back from that accident to lead currently. There's a quick comeback at that. Super B-Man 1, welcome to the stream. And before you say it, yes, it is the Keeg Dog. Oh man, that was a big slide job by Biffle on his teammate Matt Kenseth. He cleared him. Just tuning in, we had a caution just after lap 50. I believe it was lap 55 when the caution came out. Dale Jr. squeezed Greg Biffle into the wall off turn 4. Biffle got in the accident, had to repair some damage. He's a lap down now. So Billy Parker just got in the wall in the front stretch trying to block Ashton Lewis for position. So Biffle's made a green flag stop. Should be within 1 stop to the end of the race. Everybody else likely going to have to make 2. Really needs to bank on there not being a caution anytime soon. Lewis overdrives turn 3, nearly gets up into Parker on the outside. Looks like he'll clear him off turn 4. And Biffle as well get a clear Parker down on the bottom of the racetrack. He's got the run underneath Ashton Lewis through 1 and 2. Ashton Lewis gets into the wall off turn 4. He qualified on the pole. He's moved backwards a little bit in this one as well. It's going to be interesting if Hornaday can get back in the top 10 where he was running before. He nearly wrecked going into turn 1. Can alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in tonight's race at the Texas Motor Speedway. Got plane tickets for the Indy 500. Hopefully enjoy it. See me out there, say hi. I'll be there for race day on that Sunday. It's gonna be a lot of people there though, so it might be hard to find me. Favorite throwback scheme this weekend? I think Ross Chastain's personally. I mean, it just looks the most identical to a T also. We are halfway home to Texas Motor Speedway tonight. Biffle's got his work cut out for him in the second half of this race as well. Tonight's trivia question on the channel is who is the last driver to sweep both the spring and fall Texas Motor Speedway race in the Xfinity Series? So again, tonight's trivia question is who is the last driver to sweep the Texas races, winning both the spring and the fall race in the same season in the NASCAR Xfinity Series? Give you guys the answer to that question at lap 110 if you did not get it beforehand. And no hint on tonight's trivia question. Fulls caught up to his teammate Mark Martin, the 21 car as well of Kevin Harvick. To the inside of Martin off turn 4. It is not Kyle Busch. He's the second to last driver to do it. Midnight Rider, welcome to the stream. Fun fact, Busch actually won 5 races in a row at Texas at one point in time in the mid-2000s in the Busch Series, mid to late 2000s. He was definitely dominant there, but he's not the most recent driver to sweep at the Texas Motor Speedway in the Xfinity Series. It is not Greg Biffle. Trying to get to the inside of Kevin Harvick, unable to do so. It is not Kurt Busch. Biffle underneath Harvick, gets into him. A little bit of contact going off into turn 3. Clears Harvick off the exit of turn 4, though. A lot of clean air in front of Biffle again. Currently on fresher tires. I would imagine he'll cycle back to the lead if we can get through the next set of pit stops without a caution coming out before then, but also wondering when these drivers are going to pit, because they'll probably still have a little bit yet. Terry Road, welcome to the stream, and that is the answer to tonight's trivia question. Eric Jones is the last driver to sweep Texas in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. That was in 2017 when he was able to do so. But Joe Gibbs Racing. It wasn't that long ago, but I was wondering, considering the driver maybe being a little bit of an oddball one, at least by Cup Series standards. I was wondering if you guys were going to get it. And Terry Road was the first one to get it down in the comment section. So Eric Jones is the answer to tonight's trivia question. were there at the spring race in 2017. For Terry Rowe getting the question tonight, you get your imaginary invisible cookie that I will send to you via word of mouth. For being the correct answer, or for being the first one to have the correct answer tonight on the trivia. Start giving off and giving out new and fake awards for any time the trivia questions answered correctly in the chat from now on. And our first one tonight is going to be the invisible cookie. Go up on my trophy wall. Gonna hang up your cookie. Good luck trying to figure that out. It's either gonna break into a bunch of crumbs or it's just gonna meld off the end of it. I don't feel like you're gonna be able to nail it. It's gonna stay there. Caution, and that is going to trap Biffle lap down at lap 110 with 90 laps to go. A couple cars got together in turn 1, and the 152 car spins into Manny Brown. So at least a 2-car accident. It looked like he actually got into Brown at the end of the front stretch before entering turn 1. They got clung up together, pinched into the wall, and a 2-car accident. The end of the front stretch now, and this is going to be interesting. Biffle's going to pit. He's not within the window to make it to the end of the race, but I don't think anybody else is either, and I wonder, it looks like the entire field is going to pit. Cookie will never be eaten. Going to put a half around a wedge back into the race car again and move the adjustment back to the way it was at the start of the race. Biffle's not going to lose any spots on pit road, so even if there's a mistake by the pit crew, they could take their time on this 4-tire stop. So it's turned into a 3-stop race with the way the first 2 cautions have played out tonight. Biffle is a lap down on equal strategy right now after being involved in an accident with Dale Jr. earlier in the day. So he's got his work cut out for him. And we are going to have less than 90 laps to go in the restart. He's going to be scored in 41st. He's going to have to get back on the lead lap. He's going to have to race his way around the old-fashioned way. Green flag back in the air. The good news is he's the only car lap down, so he will restart to the inside of the leader, Dale Jr. Jr. got a great launch, though, and he is easily going to be able to jump out in front of Greg Biffle on the outside lane. So Junior will take control with the clean air. Biffle moved his setup back. We know his car is fast when he has the clean air with this setup in the race car. And now needs to get around Dale Jr. as quick as possible in case we get another caution. It's going to be tough. Junior's led a lot of laps tonight. It looks to be the one to beat. Biffle had a great comeback in the Cup Series race at Michigan where he was in the same circumstance, was able to get the free pass, and ended up coming back to finish second place in the final 60 laps. About 85 to go right now, 84 to be exact. Problem is there's no free pass in the Busch Series, so he's going to have to try to unlap himself and then get the quick yellow. He's battling Dale Jr. Jr. knows Biffle's competitive. He's going to block him down to the inside on the back straightaway. Biffle going to try to back up turn 3. Should be able to beat Jr. back to the gas in the middle of turns 3 and 4. He'll have a run on the grade 8. And looking low into turn 1, Jr. with another block. Biffle overdrives turn 1, gets sideways and he'll lose ground. It's going to take him a couple of laps just to get back to him again. Mark Martin in second place right now in the 9 car. Biffle can battle Dale Jr. enough. Maybe Martin's going to have a chance to take the lead. Oreo's paint scheme's fire. I actually prefer the Oreo paint scheme that he drove in the 3 car that I have up ahead. I just feel like with the white hood, it just kind of throws it off a little bit. I feel like if it was all blue, it would be better. I do like the milk splatter across the side skirts of the race car, though. That's pretty cool. It's not a bad paint scheme by any means. We're going to have to try to find a way around Junior again. Into turn 3. All over Dale Jr. Off turn 4. Jr. wiggled a bit and Biffle's underneath him. Can Biffle get his lap back and then get a quick caution? He's got the advantage on the bottom now. Junior up high. Biffle squeezes Junior. Off turn 2. Junior's in the wall hard. Biffle's back on the lead lap. Martin's going to close on Junior for the lead. And Biffle has gotten his lap back. Now can he get another caution? Junior's gotten in the wall a few times tonight off turn 2, and he did it again while leading. Biffle took his line away, but he did pass him clean, never made contact. Goodyear tires will be thrown back to the 2008 Indy. Thanks for tuning in. That's pretty funny. I sure hope not. Never want to see those tires again. I don't think any of the teams would either. This year's Goodyear tire throwback, they're throwing it back to when they had the tire wars going on in the early 1990s. And the field will be running half Hoosier tires and half Goodyear tires. A competition for the 3rd time to see who will become the next tire brand in NASCAR. That would probably be the only one worse than if they were to go back to 2008 with the Indy race. So pit window's about 72 laps. Biffle went 75 laps before pitting earlier, but we also had a caution in that window. So looking at about 72 laps being the pit window for Greg Biffle. So we can't make it to the end as we restarted with about 87 laps to go. And the window is actually going to open probably within the next few laps. May see some takers onto pit road. Biffle's got a lot of ground to try and make up. He's definitely pulling away in the clean air this time, though, from Dale Jr. Other drivers back behind him. planning on going back to NASCAR Heat 4 and NASCAR Heat 5. I don't plan on it. I've been asked that quite a bit on the channel. Especially with Heat 5, I've done all I need to do there and then some. Brought that game back for like an extra series, do that second career mode. And I had a lot of fun doing it. I know you guys probably had a lot of fun watching, but I did a lot more content than what I was originally expecting with that one. That was just because it was going to be a late release date for NASCAR 21 Ignition. But even with no new NASCAR 22 game, this is still going to be the final season of NASCAR 21 Ignition. I don't plan on doing another season there. I would like to use the updated rosters when it's technically NASCAR 22, even though it's the same game, when that comes around. But as far as what you see with NASCAR 21 Ignition now in the current state of the game, this is still the final season. Until September then, when that update comes up. So we still have a ways yet. So both cautions came out after a stretch of about 50 laps, give or take, on both green flag runs. If it happens again, we will get a caution before the end of this one. And if we do see drivers short pit, which I'm sure we'll have some drivers pit, so the window's open to the end of the race, Biffle's definitely not going to short pit because he would need the caution. I would trap more drivers a lap down if we did have it in the middle of green flag pit stops again. Everybody is, again, on the same strategy. As far as having to make it one stop to the end and last pitting under the second caution. Show the career mode. It's on a different profile. Well, I guess I could log out of the profile. I can't even remember exactly where I'm at. I think I'm leading the Busch points. If I remember, I'll show you guys real quick. "69 laps to go at Texas." Biffle was pulling away pretty quickly on Dale Jr. earlier, not so much anymore. Still pulling away from him, but not as fast as he was. It was on the very first run of the race where the car just was getting slower and slower and slower over the course of the long run. That's where, at the time, it was Johnny Sauter, Paul Menard, Dale Jr. that were all battling for the lead quite a bit. Sauter is blowing an engine, he's out of the race, along with Bobby Hamilton Jr. Those are still the only two drivers out. Any other DNFs we get the rest of the race could be more positions for Biffle to gain, but right now he's in 41st and is in desperate need of a caution at some point just to give himself a chance to try and get back into this race. He takes this run all the way to the end and hope for a dire caution and maybe trap some cars a lap down, get some fresher tires for the final restart late in the race with not too many cars on the lead lap. We're looking at pitting with about 15 laps to go. So Biffle could go quite a ways on fuel yet, but he's around 15 laps short, give or take. Definitely doesn't want to be the first car on the pit road. I'm surprised we haven't seen anybody pit yet. Window's been open for a little while. Planning on revisiting older EA games that I've already done, and I do plan on doing something interesting, let's say the least. But this is going to be way down the road. It's probably going to be a few years yet. But I would like to even go back to the games I've already played in the EA Sports games at some point in time. We have a lot of other games to explore on the channel yet before that. And starting with NASCAR 06 likely next week. Although it might not be next week the way we're running in this race. Biffle's looking to take a big hit in the point standings. If he can't get a timely caution. We do have our first takers onto pit road. Off turn 4 that time by. Quite a few cars in the back half of the field end up hitting pit road. The way the two cautions have played out in this one as well, we have a lot of cars on the lead lap currently. The ones that just pitted now, they're going to go lap down. That's going to move Greg Biffle up in the running order for a brief moment in time. To 32nd, 31st, it looks like. So if we have more cars pitting this time, doesn't look like anybody will pit this time as Dale Jr. still leads at the Texas Motor Speedway. Ariel Diaz, welcome to the stream, and greetings from Brazil. $18 people watching right now, 14 likes on the stream. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Saturday Night Racing live on KRC for the O'Reilly 300 at the Texas Motor Speedway. 6 races to go in the Busch Series season. Biffle has struggled tonight. He led a lot of laps in the first 50, but then got caught up in an accident lap 55. Had to make an unscheduled pit stop. Caution came out, trapped him a lap down with about 90 laps to go, and that's why he's at where he's at now. He had unlapped himself on the restart and is pulled away from Dale Jr., still just less than 27 seconds off the race lead. Some drivers have short pitted as the window is open to make it on field to the end of the race, but Biffle is in desperate need of a caution. He is going to be staying out as long as he can, hoping for a yellow to get him back in this race. But everybody who did not short pit as soon as the window opened will have to pit one more time. We've had 2 cautions so far in this race, both after green flag runs right around the 50 lap mark. We're going to have to go 87 laps green to the end if we do stay green to the end of this one. I don't think we will. I think we will get a caution. I just don't know how many laps we're going to have left. The less laps we have, the least likely Biffle's going to have of passing all these race cars. He's got 30 cars ahead of him right now. He's going to have to try to find a way around. Maybe looking at taking right side tires only if he does have to pit under green. Can alternate through the different camera angles one final time in today's race over the next 8 laps. There's another driver blowing up on the inside of the racetrack, and that would be the 107 car, it looked like, of Mark Handel. So that was another spot, moving Biffle now inside the top 30 for the first time in a while. Ever since he pitted his first time on that unscheduled stop, right around lap 75. Handel able to get to pit road and we stay green. Almost had a big accident on the front stretch earlier when Johnny Sauter blew an engine in the middle of the pack, bunching him up 2 and 3 wide to get around him. The 2 cautions have been off turn 4 and then towards the end of the front stretch towards the entry of turn 1. So that front stretch definitely very, very narrow, very treacherous. If we do see it through yellow, I would expect it to likely come in that area of the racetrack again. Right front wearing out right now on Biffle, and there's still 55 to go. It's a lot to ask if he goes fuel only. That's why he's likely looking at right sides only when the stop does end up happening. If it's under green. If it's under caution, he may take 4, though. It's also going to depend how many laps we have left. Track position's so important. It's been so hard to pass It usually is at Texas, even with the old Texas layout like this one is. Especially with not as much wear and tear on this track. A lot of grip. We haven't seen much passing in today's race, although we did see a battle for the lead a couple times earlier on. Still very minimal lead changes in today's race. On caution, I'm hoping too. Remember, we did get one at Michigan in a similar circumstance in the Cup Series, and we came back to finish second. Now, that circumstance was a little different because not everybody had to pit to the end of the race. And we had about half the cars pit, half stay out. So the cars that restarted pretty much ahead of us on the restart were all on old tires. And we had about 20 lap fresher tires. And allowed us to get to second on the restart. In this circumstance, everybody has to pit, yet that is still on the lead lap. So I don't know that Biffle would necessarily gain a lot of time. Pretty stagnant right now on his interval on equal tires with Dale Jr. Again, as the run gets later and later on, Biffle not quite as fast. Still 50 laps to go this time by. For the leaders, at least. Halfway on fuel at this point in the run. Biffle's gone right around 35 to 37 laps. So anywhere between 15 to 17 laps short to the end. Another reason why he's not going to take 4 tires and is likely looking at just 2 right side tires. Does have 2 more full sets left to the end of the race yet, which we definitely won't be using them both as we're this late with just the 2 cautions. 2 yellows already more than what we've had in the last 3 races. We only had 1 caution each of the last 3. We'll start to catch some traffic ahead. Some of these are cars that have already pitted, though, I'd have to assume. Cycled out, so I don't think any will be for position. At least immediately. We'll go back to the far chase cam for the rest of tonight's race as well. .152 car was actually the driver who was involved in the second caution of the race, along with the 83 of Manny Brown. And he nose to tail with the 108 currently. 108 car going to look underneath into turn 3. Biffle closing in with these guys running side by side right now. Biffle's going to play a little risky off turn 4. Not quite 3 wide. It was 2 by 2. Biffle trying to get around these guys, though, as quick as possible. Even on fresher tires, about 20 laps. Definitely tell their car's not as fast as Biffle's. Biffle quickly gets around him with how aggressively they're battling as they're side by side again behind Biffle now off turn 2. Biffle won't need much fuel left in it as well to the end. So So that's also something else to look at. It's a little loose in the middle of 1 and 2. Had the left side tires down on that white painted line on the inside. Got a bit slick. Big run into turn 1 as they'll take it under Donnie Hart. And that's another lap car that he's getting around. Hart bounces into the wall off turn 2. Not hard enough to lose control and bring out a caution though. Wonder interval-wise how much Biffle could bring that lead down before he ends up pitting. 2 tires, half can of fuel. That's what I'm thinking, honestly. Maybe a half a tank just to be safe. A half can should be enough, but I'll probably just throw a half a tank, which would be 1 can, just to be safe. Just to try and get more track position. Maybe try to get a top 20. It's obviously better than 30th. Should loosen up the car a little bit too with taking right sides only. Because the left sides are still going to be old, but he's going to have grip with the right side tires. Put a lot of stress in the left rear. Left sides will be able to make it an extra 15 laps. I don't know about the right sides. The right front's been in the red a couple times already today towards the end of the run. I just don't think it's going to make it. It'd be really risky. It may be worth a couple more positions considering where Biffle's at running right now anyway. Wouldn't hurt him much worse. Gets around 2 more lap cars in turns 1 and 2. I don't know if Dale Jr.'s caught any lap cars yet. He has to have because the lead's down to 24.8 seconds between Biffle and 30th and then Dale Jr. in the race lead. Still have 38 to go this time by for Dale Jr. Biffle picked up that last lap too, ran a 29.630. Compared to the laps he was running even beforehand. Another 29.6 on the following lap, not as quick as the lap before, about 600ths of a second slower. Catching about 3 more cars in front of him. Ray Westbury led 1 lap very early in the race after qualifying very well. Some battles going on, slowing these cars up ahead of Biffle quite a bit. Biffle to the inside of Jimmy Hill off turn 4. He's a lap down. Ray Westbury in the 121 is a lap down. Actually, Westbury was on the lead lap, so that was a pass for position. Biffle under the 119 car, really flat into turn 3, got into him. Contact. They battle for 28th. Also for position, and Biffle 4/10 of a second slower than Dale Jr. that last lap with the contact with the 119. Had to drive for a NASCAR team? Who would it be and why? I'll probably just take the easy answer and go Penske. It's because my favorite driver races for Penske. And they are a competitive team. Best Ford team. I drive a Mustang, so there's a correlation, at least with driving a Mustang too. Oh, Biffle slid wide into the wall off turn 4. Still getting a little loose off the exit of the corner. Keeping less stress on the right front at least. Except for the fact he got in the wall. That put more stress on it. The right side tires. Ashton Township, welcome to the stream. Playing NR 2003. Full on the bottom in 1 and 2. Underneath Drew Campbell. That's for position. Has a run. He'll make the pass. Now he's underneath the 86 car of Shane Kirkland into turn 3 for position. For 26th. Biffle's at least moving up in the running order. Little by little. Trackhouse is on fire right now. That is very true. Lifts off the exit of turn 2 to keep it off the wall. Quarter tank of gas left. 31 laps to go at Texas for Dale Earnhardt Jr. And we are currently at about the longest green flag run in the race so far. 30 to go for Jr. this time by. Trying to win back-to-back Busch Series races on back-to-back nights after winning and leading the most laps at Talladega yesterday. He's led the most laps today at Texas, looking to do the same thing. Could move him in the top 20 in the point standings, despite not running a full season. If we'll look into the inside off of turn 4, he's going to get really loose. Made a great save. It's a good thing he didn't get into any of the cars on his outside. Dale Jr.'s on pit road right now. And Kevin Harvick will lead, I believe, for the first time today. Harvick has led. Daughter has a crush on William Byron. If we'll look into the inside of the 109 car, Lance Brantley is going to make the pass on him. Strange that Biffle's more loose now than what he's really been ever in this race on the older tires. I wonder if the... Well, he had traffic on older tires earlier and he was tight, so I really don't know what the difference is here. So they took the half round wedge out of it originally, but then they just put it back in. I don't really think that's doing it. Right front tire's in the red right now with 27 to go this time by. Biffle to the inside of the 37 of David Green. A little contact with Green. Biffle up to 11th into turn 1. Harvick's still out on the racetrack. It's no secret I have a crush on Heath. Side of the 137. Biffle back inside the top 10. Kyle Busch is the leader after Kevin Harvick is pit. Can we get a caution in the middle of green flag pit stops to potentially help Greg Biffle out? Just 25 laps to go. And Ron Hornaday going to get 5 bonus points as he leads his first lap of the race late in the middle of green flag stops. So that's going to hurt Biffle. He's Just a little bit more. Kyle Busch is just pit. Where the leader is going to pit this time. Hornaday is in after leading just the 1 lap. That's all he needed for bonus points. It was worth staying out that extra lap. Caution right now would be, yeah, that would be huge for Biffle as he's up to 6th currently. JJ Yaley in the pits. Biffle to the lead into turn 1. Greg Biffle leads at Texas. It'll be an official lead change this time around. And dire need of a caution to get back into this race. And he could go a little bit longer yet before having to pit. Got about eighth of a tank of fuel left. Still can't make it to the finish. 22 laps to go. But he is back out in front. Needs a torrential downpour. Yes, we do. Biffle's got about 10.2 seconds right now over Dale Jr. Who I would assume is back into 2nd place. Biffle got to clear Jason Keller and put him a lap down off of turn 4. Historic Cinematics, welcome to the stream. Controller's holding up this season. I don't think I've switched one out this season. I've gone through like 3 of them, well, I'm on my 3rd one since I got the PS4. These older controllers don't hold up as well. Keller just bounced off the wall off turn 4. 20 laps to go. Bill Jr. is definitely running a lot faster than Biffle right now, but I mean, if Biffle's going right sides only anyway, it's not like he's gonna really gain much time by pitting sooner. Martel Anton, welcome to the stream. Still a little loose off turn 4. 19 laps to go at the Texas Motor Speedway. Biffle leads but needs to pit. Just never got that 3rd caution he needed. Try to get back into this race. Off strategy. Barely clung on to a top 10 last night at Talladega, finishing in 10th. I don't think he's going to be able to do that today at Texas. Hornaday was able to get 1 lap led in. That's enough for 5 bonus points. Biffle's led some laps today. He's got 5 bonus points. Junior will go on to lead the most. Dale Jr., that is. Biffle going to stay out for about 2 more laps before pitting. Really stretching the fuel window out. 17 laps to go. By the way, if we do get a late caution, about 5 or less laps to go, it could end the race under yellow. No green-white checker finishes past the scheduled distance in the Busch Series in this game, or the Cup Series for that matter in this game also. We're driving it loose off turn 4. Keller still putting pressure on him behind. Keller got the wall again off turn 4. Didn't wreck. 16 laps to go. And I think Biffle's going to stay out 1 more lap. Keller again in the wall off turn 2. He's pushing hard trying to get his lap back. I'd have to assume he's got to think Biffle's going to be pitting pretty soon. 15 laps to go this time by. Biffle's still on the racetrack, but he will have to pit this time by. I don't think he's going to be able to go any further. He's already risked it far enough. Right front tire is in the red. Did a great job keeping the car clean on this run on the old tires, but he is going to pit this time by off of turn 4. Gonna go way up the racetrack. He's got to get back down to the bottom. Just in front of Keller, luckily. And on the pit road goes Biffle. Can't speed. He did not. It's going to be no tires. He locked the tires up there at the last second. Half can of fuel. Major adjustments. Going to take... No adjustments here. No adjustments. This is risky going fuel only on this stop, but Biffle is just trying to get as much track position as possible. I don't know if that right front tire is going to hold up to the end or not. He needs to hope it does. And we'll see where he's going to cycle out. Oh, he pulled up right in front of Tim Fedewa. Biffle's going to be back to 18th place off turn 4. Luckily, Fedewa didn't run into the back of the Biff. Quarter tank of gas left, just 13 laps to go at Texas. Definitely be able to make it to the end. R6, welcome to the stream. Really old tires. He's asking 87 laps out of these tires to the end of the race. I don't know if he's going to be able to pass anybody on these old tires. He's able to hang on with traffic earlier, at least for a little bit, in a similar circumstance. Going to get underneath Ashton Lewis. Lewis blocking Biffle quite a bit right now. 32 of Stremme on the inside of Tim Fedewa in the 12 car. Biffle to the inside of Ashton Lewis off turn 4. Got a little loose and couldn't hang on. Contact right now between Fedewa and Stremme. It's going to stack him up and wad him up into turn 1. Biffle still sideways. Gets into Lewis. Lewis is in the wall. That's a spot for Biffle. As Stremme and Fedewa are still side by side with 9.5 laps to go. And now Stremme finally clears the 12 car into turn 3 for 15th. Biffle underneath Fedewa. Really old tires right now for Craig Biffle. He's trying to hang on. Biffle's car is so unstable right now. Will the right front tire make it to the end of the race? The good news is, again, he's more on the loose side, so it's going to wear the rear tires out more than the front. Also got to hope he doesn't wreck and lose positions to the end of the race. Considering Biffle's a lap down at 41st on the last restart, he can finish within 20 seconds of Dale Jr. in the race lead and still get a 17th place finish. Better than what he was looking. Got through half the field, just couldn't get through the other half. The faster half. Got a pretty decent sized run through turns 1 and 2 with Fedewa going wide. Who closes the gap. He's going to drive it in deep. Into 3, as deep as the car would let him. And he beats Fedewa back to the gas, looking for 16th off turn 4. Biffle actually didn't get that loose that time, but he clipped the grass on the front stretch. That's not going to help him. Underneath the 12. And he still makes the pass for 16th. All clear. Oh, man, barely kept it off the wall. Now the left front's in the red. Now the right rear's in the red. Oh my gosh. About as unstable of a race car as I might have ever had on this game. Biffle hangs on in front of Tim Fedewa. Is just wrecking loose right now. Trying to hone it in for another 4 more laps. Still battles the 32 car for position. That was a big moment. Middle of 3 and 4. Stremme easily pulls back into the throttle quicker than Biffle. Biffle still trying to hold off Fedewa behind him for position. Dale Jr. leads coming to 3 laps to go at Texas this time by. He cracks the wall a little bit. Closing in on 2 more cars up ahead of Stremme yet as well. Biffle got through 3 and 4 a lot better than Stremme. Looks to the inside of the 32 car. Stremme got the run off the high side. Biffle all the way down low. Oh, up the track into Fedewa. There's contact. 2 to go this time by. Fedewa's going to get right back around him. Contact, they're clung up on each other. Biffle is just hanging on to it. Fedewa's still in the wall, and here comes Ashton Lewis in the 46 car. White flag in the air for Dale Jr., 1 lap to go. We're going to finish this race on an 87-lap green flag run. Lewis just got... Oh, man, they're wrecking, and Biffle saves it on the backstretch. Oh, he gets taken out by more cars. He's going to lose a couple positions as he's just trying to hang on. He's still got another lap to go. No cautions on the final lap in this game. Lewis is still down on the apron off turn 4. Checkered flag is in the air. Dale Jr. is going to win at Texas. And Greg Biffle's just trying to hold on. All 4 tires are in the red right now, and he's in the wall off turn 2. Slamming into Nick Richardson. He's dropped back to 20th. This is just tough. Oh, another big hit into the wall. Cook into him from behind. 21st. Oh my gosh. That was a struggle those last 2 laps. Biffle lost about 4 positions, but it could have been worse. That was a big hit in the wall in that final corner. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I don't know. I can't even talk. I don't know how we made it those last few laps. All 4 tires in the red. I don't know if I'm ever trying that again. Congratulations to Dale Earnhardt Jr. winning his 3rd race of the Busch Series season and winning back-to-back on back-to-back nights. Is this Wreckfest? I don't know. Yeah, 87 laps on those tires to the end. They made it, though. We did not blow a tire. I was also nervous about that on the final lap, especially as many times as I was hitting cars and hitting the wall. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads 126 laps. And wins the race tonight. Definitely dominated this one. Even though he had pinched Biffle into the wall on lap 55, bringing out that first of 2 cautions. 18 lead changes. 1.6 second margin of victory. 2 cautions for the 6 caution laps. Average race speed at 164.74 miles an hour. Mark Martin did not lead a lap. Started 35th. Finished 2nd. Great run for him. Kyle Busch led 1 lap, finishing 3rd. Kevin Harvick 4th. And Ron Hornaday gets a great finish, finishing in the top 5 with 2 laps led instead of just 1. But 5 bonus points, 5th place finish for Hornaday. That's big for him. He's going to close in on Biffle, who finishes 21st with 5 bonus points. Kenny Wallace ends up 6th, Paul Menard 7th, Hermie Sadler 8th, Matt Kenseth 9th, and Casey Atwood rounds out the top 10 today. Biffle led 57 laps in today's race, 2nd most of any driver in this one. And 26 cars finished on the lead lap. And 3 drivers failed to finish the race. Bobby Hamilton Jr., Johnny Sauter, and Gene Martin were the 3 drivers who blew an engine in this one. Sauter led 1 lap earlier in the race. we'll check the point standings out, and then Tim Irvin, if he's still in the chat, wanted me to check out the career mode on this game to see where my progress is at. The Funai 250 at Richmond will be tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time before we go live for the live race commentary at Darlington for the Cup race. So doubleheader tomorrow, and again, live commentary for the Cup race on the channel for the Darlington Throwback race for the Goodyear 400. So that will be immediately following the finish of this Richmond race. They'll be under the lights tomorrow afternoon. All right. Well, we lost some points for the second straight race to Hornaday. It was a 247-point lead, then down to 240 going into the night. And Hornaday might be within one race worth of points now of Greg Biffle with 5 races to go, as he is inching closer. Biffle just trying to hang on. He's going to have to hope for a much cleaner race tomorrow. 185 points between Biffle and Hornaday, so Biffle still has just over 1 race lead in the standings. He can score as many as 190 points in one race if you lead the most laps and win the race, but can't outscore somebody by that much. And Busch is 498 back in third in the standings after a third place finish today. Bobby Hamilton Jr. blew an engine. He's 4th in points right now, still hanging on to a top 5 run, and I think he's still, over 1 race worth of points ahead of Kenny Wallace, who's still in the top 5. Blue Castleberry still hanging on in the top 10 right now. And Dale Jr. is up to 18th with 3 wins in the Busch Series season. If he was running for points this season, you'd have to imagine if he was running the full season, he'd probably be leading the points. And would probably have more than just 3 wins. Outscore someone by 156, yep. Alrighty. So that pretty much wraps it up for this one. I'll check out that career mode for you, Tim. And let's see here. Go into settings. Fight to the top. Yeah, so owner in the Modified Series, under contract in the Busch Series, and I'm racing the Nugget Ranch Ford number 35 car full-time. I believe Ty Sheets is my driver for the Modified Series. Checking out the standings. Second in points right now to Bobby Hamilton Jr., 26 points back in the Busch Series standings. And then the Modified Series, Ty Sheets is leading the points. So as an owner, I'm winning the Modified Series championship right now. And I won the driving championship for the Modified and the trucks. Not sure how many races I have left. Check the calendar. Oh wow, I'm really late in the season. I didn't realize how late I was. Yeah, so I'm 26 points back. Charlotte, Old Spice Speedway, Atlanta, Phoenix, Darlington, Homestead. Gonna have to mute the TV. Don't want to get copyrighted for the music playing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 races left. I'm 26 points behind Bobby Hamilton for the career mode. Not this season. We're winning the championship right now. I do not do full races for the career mode. That's just too many races. So pretty close there. I haven't played in a while, so I might be a little rusty. Well, then again, I'm still playing this game, so probably not. But that's where I'm at on both sides of the spectrum. But thank you for everybody tuning in tonight. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. See you guys for the next race of the Busch Series season at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And for those of you waiting for the Cup race tomorrow, again, tune in on the channel for live, realistic commentary of that race as well. all on the hopes of hopefully one day getting into the commentating booth for real NASCAR races down the road. Thank you so much for your support as always, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Road to 2,000 subs. Maybe we get there tomorrow. I think we definitely get past 1.9 thousand. We are very close to that. I think we have a very good shot of being able to get there tomorrow. I think we will get there tomorrow. 2,000 subscribers. We might hit that on the channel tomorrow, depending on how big the stream is for that cup race. But thank you guys, and I'll see you for some great Sunday racing action.